you start off wide, right? With all these options and choices.
Me, I'm looking for substance. So if you can't come with a substance level of conversation, I have no interest.
Okay.
You a black man taking a liking to how my lifestyle is living and how I'm going, man. You being intrigued, man. That's very humbling for me, man.
You know, the greatest thing that you'll ever give away is yourself, your life. You have to get that up one day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Everybody, yeah, it's crazy to even think about it. Like, what would life be without my existence? You know, that's how important we feel that we are to stuff, but we're not. The thing that's important is what we leave behind, not what we or who we are in the future. It's what we leave behind for others after we're not there anymore. So I do more of trying to lay eggs or plant seeds, you know, for other people, not for what I'm doing. Because I realize that my time is short. It always will be. And it was always going to be. And that's fine. Yeah. Everybody, you know, like I kind of feel like everybody's fighting for life that they don't have. And it's kind of hilarious to me.
Look what came out just now while you were talking.
What is that?
We have an Aquarius card, the star, which represents hope, calm, faith, purpose, rejuvenation. Then we have the strength card, which is like a Leo card. And it represents having courage, passion, influence, focus, inner strength, compassion. And then we have the Four of Swords upright. That's a Libra card, so loads of air. And it's for rest, relaxation, recuperation, renewal, and solitude. So the things you're talking about, that's super cool.
I'm sure those cards speak to you in ways that I don't understand totally. I do. I like them though. You know what I'm saying? I do. I like them. Have you ever wondered like whether or not the power behind that is just people power and not actually power though?
I think it's all one and the same.
Okay. So I don't know. Like if you think about it, like the cards that you pulled out were always going to be pulled out. Even though you felt like you had free will to pull out the cards.
Absolutely. They were going to come out later on tonight. They would have came out regardless if me and you connected. They're going to come out for another person in the same spread, same way, in a different way, same whatever. But it was divine at the time that you were talking. Timing, cards, intention, and what I'm receiving is what matters.
Mm-hmm. I don't doubt. See, but that's my thing. Like, I don't doubt that things like that are divine because, I mean, how long has this planet been around? How long has this universe existed, right? I don't even know the time. There's no way I can fathom it. The thing that I do know is that those cards were coming out just a second ago. All right. And that's the only peace that I have in life is that the things that are coming have always been coming. That's it. They were always going to be there. I had no control over it. Me not having free will is free will for me, if that makes sense. You know, I don't want bad things to happen. But you know what? I'm so content. I don't want good things to happen, but they just happen. So do you think that free will is predetermined by someone or something?
Oh yeah. Everything that God does and the universe does is intentional. Very.
Okay. So do you think that God has free will?
think God has. And I can't even fathom what that means.
That's why I struggle with people always trying to like explain God or explain the universe or explain whatever deity or whatever it is that they serve, because it's not something that you can even comprehend. It's not something that you have logic towards. You have no clue whether or not that being has free will or not. So why would it even matter to even try to figure out what it is or what it's about? It's kind of like, it is what it is. It's like the perfect statement for God for me. It's just, it is exactly what it is. I can't explain it, nor do I need to, nor could I, nor would I, nor have I, nor has it ever been. So why is it anything to me?
Right. Now, I can agree with that. I can agree with that to a point. For me, I focus and zoom more in and get more bothered by the person even asking the question.
Yeah.
To be honest, for me, it makes me start to like, again, you're like, having a conversation with people and they might throw it out there like, oh, what is God? Or however people decide to ask it and the ways that they do. I just feel like it's very strange. And I feel kind of like sympathy, if you will, for them to not have any connection where they can't try to explain that. I, again, resonate with you when you say, like, I'm not getting caught up in trying to explain what God is for me and how I see him and how he works in my life. I have, absolutely. And I found that it's pointless, like you said. That's why I said I resonate with that. It is pointless because you're trying to connect someone to a source in which, one, how can you explain it? Even when people try to. That's the reason why different churches have different, what do they call it? Preachers, the way that they do their evangelism and different approaches. Because there's no way to have everybody see it the same and say it the same on a consistent level all across the world.
Yeah.
Truly. Yeah. So you have to take it in internally for yourself. And if a person's even out of state in mind to be asking something like that and they're not a child, you know what I mean? They're not a child. There's a closed offness that comes with those types of questions to me. So again, it's very pointless. It's a dead end. It's like trying to rev up a Lamborghini to race it in an alleyway that there's a brick wall at the end. We're not going anywhere. This is about to be a crash out. Like, we're not in the right place. We're not in the right place.
I have to just make the statement that I think that trying to talk about your perspective on God is no disrespect to whatever God is or God himself, but it's got to be the most worthless conversation that you can ever have in your life with another human being. It is. It's worthless.
Stop.
I'm serious.
There's people around us having that conversation right now.
And it's a worthless conversation. It's joke worthy. Because here's the problem with it for me this is where
your age kicks in, like zero tolerance for bullshit. Like, I'm just telling you, I'm listening though. This is great.
No, I'm serious. It's worthless because the only way that people try to argue the existence or the teachings or the understanding, I hate to use that word, of God, is through logic, which goes against what you are arguing for in general. It's horrible, Like I've heard, I was just talking to somebody about this. It's people who try to, especially when they're in church, it's the worst. When they think they are very beyond everybody else because they've read scripture, and they try to argue Noah was this, and then you ask them a simple, solid question, and they try to apply a faith logic to it, and that's the problem. It's not logical in the sense of of structural earth, of our structural existence. They're trying to explain it through divine logic, which I understand what they're trying to do, but it makes no sense in the real world. So like, for instance, you ask anyone who wants to talk about Noah, right? And you ask them a simple question and then they start making up shit.
So you're at a space. So this is very interesting to me. And this is kind of where I cap conversations as well. Because I could be wrong. I'm just taking in what you're saying.
Not trying to be offensive. I don't know if that's something that you believe in.
No, I do believe in that. But you're not being offensive to me either. So you're not offensive at all. I always go back to the foundation, like, because I'm a spiritualist. Mm-hmm. I believe that, religion is something that I can do. I'm very religious about taking care of my daughter. I'm very religious about a few things. But anywho, saying all that to say, your Aquarian mind, logical mind, analytical mind leans into, can you prove to me, and this is how it, based off what you're saying to me, can you prove to me how Noah or whoever helped him, however the plan went, prove to me how all those animals got on there. And for me, that's the magic part. That's the spiritual part. That a lot of people that are analytical, we were just talking about this last night. See, people should come to the book club. The book club was cool. It was cool. Because I was talking to a Libra woman. She's very analytical. She's very analytical. I've known her my whole life, basically.
Right.
She's very balanced too, though, in both. Okay. So she challenges things like, okay, observation, take a step back. I like patterns. That's all I know is the data of what I see and what you can show me. With that, she's a spiritualist too. So my whole point of me saying this is, when you leaned into that, it makes me wonder if it's your analytical mind saying, can you prove that to me, that there's all those animals on there? Because if you can't, then maybe we shouldn't be looking at it from that type of standpoint of it being like a spiritual explanation. And for me, that is God. There is no there's nothing logical about God to me. And if there is, spirituality is definitely in there. So when somebody that's a lot of logic mind is asking that question, it's like an oxymoron. It's like, it's exactly what I'm saying to you about earlier, just like a few minutes ago. And I was like, it's like driving down the road because it's a dead end because of the way your mind is set up. As an analytical person, you need that. You might need that to just know that there's that data that proves that. Otherwise, you're not going to see it. That's not your belief system. For me, God is a spiritual being. So I couldn't fathom, again, going back to not trying to explain it, I couldn't even fathom how he's done it. I just know it's been done. I couldn't fathom how I got here.
Yeah.
I know it's been done. So again, that's where we do resonate, because I think your overall point wasn't just to challenge the idea. I think your overall point was to actually say, why do people even try to explain it at all?
That's the point. And the point is, the other thing is that when people have these conversations, when they have a belief or faith system, they're not arguing those points to me. I'm just in the middle of what they're arguing. They're actually arguing with themselves because it's a philosophical question that has no answer to it to begin with. Because if you believe in faith, then it's outside the realm of existence, of science, of logic, of matter, of quantum physics. It's something that has no truth to it, but can be true to you. So you're not arguing with me. You're arguing with yourself. You're just using me as a conduit to make yourself believe more of what of the faith that you want to believe. It has nothing to do with me. That's why I find it quite comical when people who are, I find it very funny, and it's funny because nothing that you're saying is true. However, to you it's true, and it could be true, but it's not anything that you should argue in the begin with, because if you believe in faith, then you shouldn't argue. I feel like people who believe in things should just shut up. I don't feel like they should. And I'm not talking about like from the aspects of not getting around people who believe in what you believe and not talking. I think that's the perfect place for you to be able to talk about those things, right? Mm-hmm. But trying to talk to me about something that you believe in your own circle, you might as well be talking to an ape. You might as well be talking to a primitive thing, or you might be talking to something that is superior, and you may be the primitive thing. Nobody knows. But the point of it is it means nothing to either side.
Well, how would you know that unless you're talking about it?
How would I know that?
How would you know? By
talking about it?
No, how would you know that unless you do talk about it?
I think it has to be spoken about once or twice, but I think the message can be passed along very easily that it's a worthless debate. I hate when but it sounds like I'm being crude, right? It does, but I'm not. I'm actually giving, the funniest thing is that people don't understand, like, I'm giving God the glory. I'm giving him the glory that you don't want to give him, because you are trying to argue his existence. I'm saying it doesn't matter. Like, there are people who are like, was Jesus black? I don't care. I know he wasn't white, but I'm not sure he wasn't black. I'm not sure he's black. I'm not sure he was Arabic. I have no clue what he was.
When people are
arguing,
and I'm
comfortable with that.
A lot of times when people are arguing, it's because of ego anyway. And because, like, going back to what I was saying earlier, there's no way for everybody to get that memo across the world at the same time. So you're going to run into people that are going to continuously have that conversation. So that's why I was saying that, because there's just no way for us to, if there was a way for the whole world to be uniform all at once, we would have been solved a lot of problems. We probably wouldn't have problems. So that's always going to come up. And then we have ego. And that's the reason why people, again, going back to the start of this conversation, not letting go, because people attach themselves to things. When people, I'll give you an example of myself. Stop talking about people. When I was going through, because I was married, when I was going through a divorce, the hardest thing for me in the initial phase was, like, I can't believe this. I can't lose my person. And it was never my person. Even if we stayed together for the rest of our lives, I do not own that person. And when you, no matter how you're married, because everybody's marriage is different, everyone's union's different, how they operate, navigate, and that's how it should be. With that being said, though, there's a dance that happens in there. In everyone's union, there's a dance that you have to learn to do with this person. And a part of that dance, something that we do all have to acknowledge if we want successful relationships, is lack of possession. Like, not attaching ourselves, our self-worth, or ourselves to others. It's so important. It's so essential, because it means nothing. It really doesn't. And we lose a lot doing that. So again, to kind of bring it full circle, people have those egos where they're attaching themselves to things, people, places, and stuff, and we're taught to. And when we lose those things, it's like losing a part of yourself. That's why the art of still loving impactfully and being able to attach yourself while still detaching is the balance. It's a beautiful dance. It's one that I'm mastering, actually. I can feel it. We can have that conversation another time. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it. I'm mastering it. But yeah, I agree. I like this conversation. This was cool.
Yeah. You know, what am I doing here? What the hell? There we go. So I was watching this this conversation with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I listen to his stuff. I'm not like a fanatic on, I know he's a scientist, great, whatever. I was listening to it. I just to hop back on religion, but he was talking about how many wars, let's say this, how many people have died because of faith and belief versus logic and fact. And he went on to describe the comparisons between what logic is and what belief in the supernatural is, and how the fact that when people have beliefs that are stoked in faith, that they, even though the faith that they usually are speaking of is something that is promising and that grants rewards beyond our existence, oftentimes they do the most horriblest things because of that faith. He talked about the Christian Crusades. He talked about slavery. He talked about Islam and all of the wars that have been fought because of the belief in Allah. And he went so on and so on. Mm-hmm. So like you are talking about this relationship, and I'm just trying to draw it back to that relationship part, even though, I kind of jumped to that. But you're talking about this relationship and you said you can't believe that something happened. Is that what you said?
What?
You can't believe that you got divorced, or you can't believe that your person is... I
was just using that as an example of saying that instead of me keep saying people, I was saying that when I was going through that, that was like my initial, thought process. Like, I can't believe that. Like, that's
right.
One of the stages, yes.
But yeah, that's the mode that you were in, but mm-hmm. I've been divorced too. So I'm not just saying, I'm not just talking from my inferior perspective or whatever. But mm-hmm. So the one thing I think you're right about that is that our focus on belief and not logic is what makes us suffer, and it's the same thing when it comes to human nature and why we always have these atrocities that we commit because of our belief systems and things like that. Our belief system allows us to create any position that we want to. Our belief system allows us to believe this false narrative of self-esteem in relationships, in cultures, in countries, and whatever. It allows us to escape the reality of logic. And if I apply that to like relationships, mine personally, I don't know about yours, but in my relationship, my emotional faith belief system that implanted itself into that relationship allowed me to think that something was going to happen that never would have happened to begin with. It was never set up that way to have a successful relationship with the type of person who I brought into my space. So I like to stay logically sound and based because I'm going to make better decisions. Maybe those decisions are better in heaven, but they're not good on earth. And it's not good in religion because most of the wars have been fought over it. Okay. It's not good in any way, sense, or form. Charles Manson had a religion. All these different people, Pol Pot, Hitler, Mussolini, all of these people who have did Attila the Hun, everyone was stoked in religion. Everyone had these thoughts of grandeur that were not based in reality. So I really feel like life would be better. Keep your religion, have your faith, have it don't bring it into real life. Don't bring it into relationships. Don't bring it into your countries. Don't bring it into your cultures. It only destroys things. And to me, it takes away from what God truly is. Because if you really had faith in God, you need not fight one war. You need not hold on to one person. you need not worry about these things, because doesn't God teach that nothing earthly is bound to you? Everything that is going to be something that's going to present itself as fruitful is going to come from heaven.
Depends on what God you believe in.
Well, which one says the opposite?
I don't know. I just know that everyone doesn't worship the same God. So it has to be some type of difference, right?
But my universal, there's always a universal understanding. And that's the one thing that I kind of get from, whether it's Islam, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Buddhism, whether it is whatever. There's always a universal truth and pattern that comes with these different thoughts, these different theories on what faith is and whatever deity you serve. And the point is that it's present value versus future consumption. The present is bad. The future is better. The heavenly future. I don't know any religion that believes that there's going to be heaven on earth or whatever. I think Jehovah's Witnesses do, but really it's just heaven is coming to earth. But what I'm saying is, it's like, it's present value versus future consumption. So everything that we want is somewhere else. So why are we arguing while we're here about it? I'm just saying, and you're right. I'm not saying I'm right. We're both right.
I think the most important thing that you said on this Zoom is that, why even argue about your belief system? Like, if that's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not worth it. It's just not.
Truth is not absolute, because truth is stoked in perspective. And everybody has different perspectives. There is no I always say that there is no truth. I do not believe in the truth. I do not believe in solid things. I don't believe when someone tells me something that they promise, because promises are based in environmental consistencies. You have a great life until you lose a job.
I don't allow people to make promises to me or around. Like, you can do if that's what you want to do in your life, but not to me. And my daughter, we've taught her, like, we don't promise her things. We just tell her we're going to do stuff, or if we're not, like, it's just that we don't make it, because there's no point. And she believes in magic. She's very much that person. And my child is actually really more analytical by nature. She just, like, she's expanding into that. But yeah, I agree. I think everybody's different. Like you said, everybody has their own capacity of how they see and perceive and comprehend and digest spirituality, religion, God. Yeah, I agree. I have no qualms with what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah, I don't have any with what you said either. I mean, I appreciate the conversation. I didn't know I was going to have this conversation, but I just kind of let things flow. I just kind of let it flow. Yeah.
You came out swinging. No, you came out swinging.
Oh, I don't know if I do. I don't do that on purpose. I had a show with Lonnie the other day, and I can't wait till you see it, because it is. I had to apologize. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to come at you at all. I'm just trying to raise the point, because for me, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. I can't believe
if I'm on it.
You said that to Lonnie. That's her whole brand, I think.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I feel as though my job is, if I'm going to be doing this, I'm not going to be sitting here just rambling. I have to ask questions, because I feel like the only way to grow something like this is by asking harder questions, and asking questions that other people will want you to ask. So when they look at this, they can get those answers for themselves while they watch this. So
are you going to ask Donnie?
What'd you say?
You should ask Donnie.
What should I ask?
This same question. Donathan. You know who Donathan is in the group?
Absolutely not.
No, you have to ask them.
What? Say, what are you talking about, dog?
Wait.
What are you talking about? What?
Ryan. You are so funny to me. You are really funny. You are really, really, really fucking funny. Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Wait, no, who are we talking about? Donnie or Lonnie or who?
Wait. I have a mouthful of chocolate. Hold on.
Okay, you good.
And it's peanut butter. His name is Donathan. And he's in the group. He's in the panel group. And I was saying him because he literally is always challenging a question like this too. But he's coming from a whole nother perspective than even you and me and Lonnie. And he's a guy. So that's what I was saying. I was saying, did you ask Donathan this question? Oh,
okay. Yeah, I didn't even know he was on there.
Mm-hmm. He's always throwing this out all the time to people, but I feel like he goes around, and this could not be true, but I feel like he goes around poking the bear. That's what I feel like he does. So he's going up to Christians on some, not going up to them, but he's on some, why do you believe that? Like, why do you think God is real? Tell me. Explain.
See, I understand that. I'm a little bit different because me and Lonnie, we had a great conversation about God, but I was like, I'm telling her that just like matter of fact, we're having this almost the same conversation. Okay. Wait till you hear it. And what I was conveying was that two things can be truthful at once. Basically, in a nutshell, faith and logic can exist at the same time because there's a certain point in time where you go back in logic and you have no explanation. And the only thing that can fill the void if you don't have any proof is faith.
That's the truth.
So you don't, like people say the Big Bang Theory, and then the next question is, well, what made the Big Bang Theory? And then if you find out what made the Big Bang Theory, then you say, what made that made the Big Bang Theory? And then you just keep going on and on. There's something that we don't get about life. There's something that we don't understand.
Eric said he's done with having that conversation about the Big Bang Theory. I have to hear this. So when do you drop your pod with Lonnie? When do you drop it?
I'm real behind on these things because I try to like make them. I try not to just throw them out there.
Okay. And
so I take.
When I see them, they are nice.
I mean, but I want to get better. So I want to get better at them. So I don't just want to always say like, hey, I got a formula and the formula is good. And let's just keep throwing the formula out there. A lot of times people do that. And I don't see like the views change. I don't see like the look of it, the aesthetics of it change. It's just like wasting time if I'm not like trying to do something different or trying to do something better or trying to perfect the technique. So I take my time and I go through them. I think my turnaround is usually, the most I've ever turned around one is 3 weeks, but usually it's 2 weeks.
No, 3 weeks.
So what I'm saying is if I am tired, I won't do one in 3 weeks.
Okay.
But usually I can do and I think I went on this run since like January where I've been dropping like one every week. And that can get tiring. So I have to like let go of things. I have to let go of this too. It's the trade-off. If you can master the trade-off, then you can master not having emotional eruptions and getting depressed and, losing your temper on people and things like that. You have to have balance. So for me, it's like some things have to let go. So, and me, I'm fond of just saying like, yeah, I want to see you in a little while. Bye. Because it's better that way.
My mom has this saying, and I want to say it just like her. She goes, oh no, don't bring your book bag of bullshit over here. I got my shit. My shit's a fanny pack. You ain't not about to bring your suitcase and I got my shit down to a fanny pack, you know? So, or she'll say something like, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Doesn't make it right, wrong, or indifferent. They're there. They're just there.
They're there.
Like, but that's reality. Suffering is necessary. We're all going to have to endure that. Now, for how long, how many times, it's just dependent variable.
It's not dependent on you.
With that, right. I think people take on other people's shit too much. That's where I think people start to suffer more. There's always a time, like if you ever hear like you're up, you can only go but so far. So I think the same way in a sense about suffering. And when you're suffering your own shit, there's a time and a place for that, because there's yin and yang. There's always that going on. There's always something going to be happening. You're going to have your ups. You're going to have your lows. When you are inserting yourself into other people's business, America in itself inserting itself into other people's business, and not saying that we should not be, do not get me mistaken. I'm not saying that we should not be aid to another country or support or allies. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying the bullshit that we have been able to get along with and away with for so long, by putting up the mask that we're the best of the best without having to do the work. That's a problem. So suffering is inevitable. It's going to happen. Where people fuck up is when they try to hold on, like you said.
Yeah. One of the biggest things, though, is that you're suffering on your level, and there's somebody suffering at a worse level than you, and then there's somebody suffering at a worse level than that person. Suffering has depths, and some people are unfortunate enough to have to experience the darkest levels of suffering that we cannot quantify. The same amount of suffering that you would compare to saying, I couldn't imagine having $1 billion. What would I do with it? Somebody is suffering 1 billion times over. And that's the fearful, that is haunting in and of itself. And that's why you asked the question, and that's why I believe it. I've seen a lot of suffering, and I know I will suffer too.
I've suffered, and I will continue to. It's just a part of the human cycle. That's just the way it is. It's karma, there's dharma. That's just the way it is. And again, that type of conversation is like if we talk about like 3D level stuff, that is so 2D to me, because it's just like, come on, like we know that we're going to suffer. Of course we are. Everybody's going to suffer. Animals suffer. Right now it's raining and thundering. Ants are suffering. The ones that got caught outside, like, you know? So like you said, I could dive into, because I have seen suffering around me, and I have endured it. I could dive into the fact that, there's somebody suffering even worse, and somebody suffering worse than that. I like to dive into the balance of both, of knowing that that's the truth, and then there's also a truth that somebody's doing better than me. I can change my situation as well. The mind is a dangerous, bad boy, and people do not practice strengthening their mind the way that they do their muscles, the way that they do their abs or squatting for their ass. People don't work their mind. You can do whatever, you can change your situation if you change your mindset to things. You can be going through the same situation that you were before, but your mindset about it change. So in return, your everyday change about it, and you still are suffering. I was just kind of saying something like that. Like, there's people, me and you talked about that on your podcast on Club Geneva here. We were talking about like the kids that are born without narcissism, right? Like, you know, the kids that are born without love, and maybe somebody that was left outside and was raised an orphan later on in life, but they still show up for people. They're showing up. They're the first person there for their friends, and they make friends, and they end up having connections and stuff like that. There's a process to it. Not everybody just jumps from an orphanage to doing that all the time or necessarily. But the point I'm trying to make is that balance is what's necessary. Duality, people are afraid of their shadow side. Like, people are afraid of being bitchy. I'm not afraid of being bitchy at all. Like, no. My friend said that last night. Like, I'm not nice, I'm kind. People get that misconstrued because of the way that I look or the way that I navigate life, because I don't have to be mean. I don't need to be aggressive or anything, whatever you think I am. And I'm not concerned about what you think I am. So I don't even, but by the time that they do find out who I really am, they're always thrown off, because I am mastering the ability to love very hard. And just as hard as I love, I have that Aquarius nature where I detach way harder. Way harder. Absolutely. If it's bullshit, E, I'm out. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Well, a lot of women are like that.
Yeah, that's how it gotta be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a gift and a curse. But it's powerful until you're 60 and alone.
Yeah. But that's the thing. We're talking about cutting off bullshit. We're not talking about cutting off everybody. So there's no way for me to end up 60 and alone. If I'm cutting off bullshit, it's not supposed to be in my life. And I'm still showing up in a loving way. Balance. And if I keep running into bullshit, I would be the 60-year-old woman that dies happy or lives happy. Okay. Absolutely. Because my peace of mind is everything. I'm not missing out, and I don't find completeness in having another person. That's probably another reason why I didn't remarry so fast or like that. Because I learned self-identity through that. I never wanted to be married before my ex-husband. So that in itself was an attachment. So to detach from that and reframe your mind about marriage, I cherish it in a different way now. So yeah, if I ever did get to experience it again, I would definitely navigate it differently. I'm older. I've grown so much, learned so much.
Well, I no longer worry about those things, like if things will fail or whether they will succeed or not. So it doesn't matter to me. I just enjoy the climb. You can climb for these things that you feel will bring you something, or you can just enjoy the ladder. And I just enjoy the ladder. I will always climb it. I could lose right now and I'm hopping right back on it. Well, it's been good talking to you.
It's always good talking to you.
All right, well,
appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you. Take care of yourself. We'll catch up soon.
See you, Club Geneva. Peace out.
All right, peace. Yep.